Hello, my name is Shreyans Bairiganjan. I am an energy finance practitioner who is currently working with the World Bank. I am here to talk to young entrepreneurs today and anyone else who is interested in looking at rural energy markets. This market holds a potential of around 2.1 billion per year, all this while improving the lives of people significantly. For my TED Talk today, I have been asked to focus on stories that I see in the field, stories that can help entrepreneurs understand the potential scale and how to get to that scale. Well, what better way to tell a story than start by throwing some random numbers around? I might do that, but not right away. A few months back, we saw that there was a power outage in Mumbai that lasted for a few hours. Now, Mumbai as a city has not witnessed too many power outages ever. So people responded in the best way they know, by tweeting and making memes about it. Then, of course, came the comparison about which part of India has the most power outages. People from Delhi, people from Chennai and cities in UP started comparing notes. We truly live in very dichotomous times, and I say this because till the early part of 2020, we still had around 940 million people globally who had no access to electricity. And here we were, talking about a few hours of power cut that we faced. If you live in a city and I ask you about power cuts, you would probably be able to count the number of times you had a power cut on your fingers. If you live in a village, this would become trickier. In the last few years, this often repeated narrative of access to energy is changing. Slowly and steadily, there is a difference that we see. Rural electrification is getting closer to 100% across India, Bangladesh and other neighboring countries. So what really has changed in the last decade? The government grids have definitely become better. Power has become more accessible. But most importantly, in emerging economies such as ours, we are moving towards renewable energy. And yes, the cost of renewable energy has gone down significantly in the last decade, making it one of the cheapest alternatives around. In addition to that, people living in villages have now understood how to use clean energy smartly. For example, they use solar lighting to increase their income by working in the night. This is becoming a common practice across South Asia. When we discuss energy access in a post-COVID era, some of the more human approaches are going to do much better than pure commercial scale business models. We cannot ignore the kind of demands and needs that are coming in from rural markets, and we need to understand their priorities better. As the Indian economy re-emerges from the COVID-19 challenge, so does the demand for electricity. By 2030, India's energy demand is expected to more than double, with the rural market driving up the trends. And this rural market has around 114 million households that make up the base of pyramid, or the poorest of poor, as we call them. They spend close to $5 billion per year on energy needs. A majority of this expenditure is funneled into basic fuel sources such as firewood and dung. Back in 2011, we did a study called Power to the People. The study analyzed the opportunities and obstacles of clean energy sectors and estimated an aggregated potential market of $2.11 billion each year. This is a subset of the overall energy expenditure per year. The rural clean energy market creates an opportunity for investors to fund a market with significant growth potential. This market presents entrepreneurs with a vast untapped potential that they can use to innovate and introduce newer strategy while they are reaching out to the poorer masses. When entrepreneurs think of rural energy market, they need to think in terms of the behavior that inspires the change or the adoption. I have some stories, or rather examples, that can help explain the behavior change that an entrepreneur needs to understand. This goes beyond the financial projections and business models that he would have already worked on. Let's start with a small village in Bihar. This village had a startup that had installed a biomass-based solar plant to help people. The startup never checked on the payment capacity of people in the village prior to the installation. Once the plant was set up, people in the village said that they can only pay for a single light and a mobile charging point. This amounted to hardly 50 rupees per month per house. The startup was a bit disappointed, but nevertheless, it kept trying to create local entrepreneurs. They brought in rice mills, oil mills, and tried to give it to people, but people wouldn't use it. However, in a couple of years, there were rumors of the government stepping in. People scrambled to the nearest city to purchase mixers, grinders, coolers, smaller televisions. A fortnight later, the government power did step in, but it was a single phase line that could not power up any of the appliances. The people then went back to this particular startup and said, "Why don't you give us power to run the appliances and charge for it?" The company did that, and people paid happily. This shows that there is always a tier transition step. Entrepreneurship is always stage 3. Stage 1 is basic lighting, stage 2 is aspirational goods. Stage 3 is entrepreneurship. From Bihar, we moved to the neighboring village of West Bengal. No matter who you are, you want your kids to do better than you. The same was the case with a rural family in South 24 Parganas in West Bengal. The family had 3 children. The older child was a brilliant student. This family purchased a solar light from a local NGO to use for emergency services, but the elder son ended up using it to study throughout the night, and he managed to qualify as a topper in one of the toughest medical exams in the country. This spurred the family to buy 2 more lights for the other 2 children so that they could also study hard. Looking at the success of the kids in this particular family, the whole neighborhood bought multiple solar lanterns. It became something that had an aspirational value, not just for yourself, but to ensure that your kids have a better chance than you did. From there, we move on from the rice belts of Bengal to the forests of Madhya Pradesh. I was just starting out in the energy space when I went into this beautiful forest village in Madhya Pradesh. There were a few dwellings right in the middle of the jungle, and the usual judgmental Indians that we are, the first question that popped into our mind was how do these people earn in order to survive? We went around asking people and got no solid answers. In a last-ditch effort, my colleague ended up asking one of the villagers, if you were to move into the city, how much money do you think you need each month to sustain? We gave them numbers, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and this kept going on till he finally stopped at 23,000. This left us very surprised. They ended up telling us, "Sir, we sell tendu leaves and make around 3 lakh rupees in a single go. So we'll need at least that much a year to sustain in the city as well." The villagers were talking about seasonality of income in rural markets. This was a great learning for us. They simply took the annual income and divided it by 12 months to hand us a number per month. But the key learning for us here was that there are people who could pay for energy services, but their income was cyclical and seasonal. It was not a monthly income like most of us are used to. Entrepreneurs need to benchmark their products and services to suit the income cycle across rural belts in order to get the most out of it. This is a large market due to the aspirations of the people in place. Despite the number of obstacles that they may run into, the rural market will never be short of aspirations, and this is where the investors and entrepreneurs with an interest in the rural market can contribute to its success. Along with the right set of tools to understand behavior, the entrepreneurs will help in unleashing this market's tremendous potential. As I said at the beginning of my talk, I do hope a few of you who heard this decide to set up the next big company for India. All this while focusing on rural energy markets while you do so. Thank you so much for your time.